5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hi, and welcome into the show. I want to welcome all the new listeners. Well, how many new listeners do I have here on Spreaker? I have no idea. This is literally the third episode that I'm doing for In the Booth with yours truly, Earl Hall. Make sure that you check out all the links in the description because I've got some nuggets there that really may interest you. So you may want to go ahead and check those out. One of the nuggets that is there is the brand new closed private or private closed, however you want to say it, Facebook group that we have for VOFT. What's VOFT? Voice over Fast Track. It's a brand new program that I'm launching. It's going to launch officially July 1st, but you can get in while you can for a reduced price. So just go ahead and click the link and it'll take you to exactly where you need to be to find out everything else. One of the things that came out of this group for VOFT, we're asking a bunch of questions in there, or the folks that are there, they're asking a bunch of questions and they're really digging in. The community is growing and the interaction is just amazing to me. But one of the questions that came through yesterday, and I actually did a Skype call with this member of VOFT, Chris. I forget where he's from, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. I keep wanting to say Poland, and I'm thinking that's right. But at any rate, he asked a question that I think goes very deep to the heart of a matter of more than a few things in regards to why voiceover artists have maybe some issues or some problems getting work. One of the things that I am a very big subscriber of is to not give much attention to your weaknesses, but pay close attention and give all of your energy to your strengths. And I got that and came up with that from Gary Vaynerchuk. Many of you probably know who Gary Vaynerchuk is and follow him. Outstanding guy to follow on the net. But one of the things that I really like about Gary and this whole thing about not giving any energy to your weakness, but going all in on your strengths is that it's very good advice, because we normally want to kind of pick on ourselves all the time. You know, that inner dialogue that's always going on within your head and it's telling you you're not good enough. Oh, you messed that up. Oh, why did you even try? Those type of things. Well, the question that Chris asked me on yesterday, and I'm going to try and phrase it correctly here. Chris has a accent, and I hope Chris doesn't mind me giving this information away, but Chris, this is going to help a ton of people, and you got the first benefit of the answer, so I want to make sure everyone else does too. But Chris isn't English isn't his first language. Sometimes I don't think it's mine, but it's not his first language. And I forget the language that he speaks, but at any rate, sorry about that. His language, his first language is not English. So he's a voiceover artist and he's trying to get voiceover work. But Chris, like many of you that are out there that either have a heavy accent, your original dialect comes through and all this other kind of stuff, you don't like how it sounds when you're trying to speak English. Look, here's the advice. Double down on your strengths. Don't worry about if English isn't your first language. Why the heck are you going to kill yourself trying to get work speaking English? Now, I'm going to give you a tip towards the end here, because there is a way for you to take advantage of that whole English thing. There's a way to do that. But now, you know, I'm a voiceover artist. I obviously speak English, even though sometimes I stumble. But I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak Dutch. I don't, speak any other language other than English. It's the only one that I know. Sorry. But if I were to try and get a job speaking in any other country doing voiceover work for commercials that they have on the TV or radio or explainer video companies in those countries or video production, whatever, I couldn't compete. I couldn't. So I have to double down on my strengths. I have to double down on, hey, I'm a guy, I live in the Midwest. I have, I guess, a basic American accent. I can turn on a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It just depends on what it is that I'm doing. But my first language is English. I'm not going to try and compete with someone that speaks Dutch. I can't do it. It'd just be stupid and impossible and ridiculous for me to say, well, I can't get all the work in voiceover I continue to forget to turn my phone off when I do this. But anyway, it would be ludicrous for me to try and compete against Chris over in Poland to get Poland work. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So here's the thing. For Chris and everyone else, double down on the strengths that you have. Make sure that you are doing all you can in this voiceover industry to crush it wherever you are with the tool that you have. And I'm talking about your voice as being your tool. Double down on all that stuff. Now, here's where I was talking about, maybe English isn't your first language, but you can speak English, but it's not your first language. Before I go there, let me tell you this. When you're trying to get work in another language, let's just say you speak Spanish and you're trying to get English work. One of the things that happens, or any language you're trying to get English work, the reason why it's so tough to get those jobs if you have to speak English, and this would be the reverse if an English person wanted to speak Spanish and was trying to speak Spanish in a commercial and Spanish was their second language or third or fourth. All right, the thing is, if the first language that you speak, or if English isn't your first language, when you try and do a voiceover in that language, you're not going to have a natural cadence. The way that you say words isn't going to be very clear. And I'm not talking about because you have the accent, because people that have the accent can still get over. But the phrasing, how we say phrases and how things come out naturally or intuitively because we speak that language, it makes it even tougher. So again, stop trying to do that. Now, nothing's going to prevent you from taking classes, taking speech classes if you want that or whatever to try and get better at that. That's completely up to you. But why do all of that as opposed to digging in deep with the skills that you have where you are? Now, here's the thing. When you want to get voiceover work from an English-speaking company, let me tell you how to get it. And this is where you can get in, and you're going to have to do a little research on this as well. There are plenty of people in America, or plenty of companies in America, that have products and services that are overseas in different countries. Guess what they need? They need someone in that country that can translate their English into that country's language. That's where you can get over and really, take advantage of some of the voiceover jobs that are out there. Whatever country that you're in, it's going to take you some research to do. I know on most of the freelance sites, you can kind of find voiceover work in your language or find translation jobs, English to whatever it is that you speak. Do searches for that. Do some research on that. See, English isn't always my first language. Anyway, do some research on that and try and discover what is going to work best for you in those situations. Look, I hope this has been helpful. Please leave me a comment. Tell me some of your struggles that you're having in getting voiceover work because of an accent or because of language barriers or whatever else. Let's have that conversation. Also, if you haven't joined my very, very free website at stepstovoiceoversuccess.com, you want to make sure that you do that. There's a link in the description. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great VO week. See, English isn't my, see what have a great VO. See, have a great VO week. See ya.